Later we're going to bring out our first guest. He is an artist who most famously let himself be crucified on an island in the Philippines in the year 2000. Talk to us about that and shock and outrage and various other topics. Could you please welcome Sebastian Horsley? Hello, Sebastian, how are you? Sorry, let me move around here now. That, by the way, may I say, is a spectacular piece of suitwear.
And I love your nails.
That is quite wonderful.
Matching and all, they're fabulous.
Is it telly, this thing?
This is so for telly. Did you come here thinking, this would be
I thought it was radio.
Yeah. You know, you're catching the light beautifully, actually. It's very,
well,
very
the
nice.
key is to dress in such a way that you'd attract attention at a Liberace concert. That was the idea.
It's a good look, yeah. Very, very good. How's the art going for you? How's that working out?
I've done my bit for art. I've stopped making it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you moved on to crafts? I mean, seriously, Sebastian, what do you do if you what do you do post art? What goes next?
I've gone into the profession of being. I'm a peacock without a cause.
Straight up.
A rebel without applause.
Wonderful. And is there much money in that?
If you tell it...
You sound like such a taxi driver. Do you make a living off that, do you?
What am I doing on the show?
I've actually...
I think you're plugging your book, probably.
Do you know what now? To be honest, let us be the judge of that now. Don't be no, you have a book out at the moment, which presumably you'd like people to know about.
Yeah.
Not just for commercial reasons, but you'd like a story to be.
And it's been
heard.
called an unauthorised biography. I'm not quite sure what that means. Do people just say?
Well, it means that I live in terror of being understood. And I didn't want to write it, but I was asked to write it. And because I'm repulsively obedient, I did it.
Okay.
But you haven't said, Sebastian, you haven't said no to many things in your life. Like, and the book is also, you say you spent 90% of your money on prostitutes and the other 10% on Class A drugs.
No.
Or is it the other way around?
No.
What's the equation?
I invested it. I didn't spend it. I invested it.
Oh, right, sorry. My misunderstanding.
But it says in your book that you've called yourself a connoisseur of prostitution and you've spent 100 grand on prostitutes, and yet you hate intimacy. Isn't that very typically male of you?
Well, the problem with intimacy is that it's not really intimacy. It's surveillance, isn't it? And that's kind of what I have a problem. That's girls going about intimacy, but what they really mean is surveillance.
You crucified yourself in August 2000. This was for art. Do you have scars from the crucifixion?
By the way,
I've got some small ones here.
We're not speaking in any way figuratively. Literally, you allowed yourself to be crucified, nailed to a cross. Just for the sake of illustration to the audience here, where would the nails have gone through? Through there?
No, they went through here.
So you're up for that.
So you like this.
Because it's in the Philippines, isn't it? They do this every year anyway.
They crucify their own people every year. I was the first Westerner to go through it.
Whenever it came down to it, did you have any doubts at the last second that should I do this, should I not do it?
No. It would have been like trying to stop a shooting star. It would have been ridiculous.
It was inevitable.
Yeah. As soon as I knew it was possible to be crucified in the modern world, I knew that it was something I had to do. I mean, I could have done it on my floor, I could have done it in Oxford Street, but I wanted to invent within tradition, and the Philippines is the only place where they crucify their own people.
But you paid them to allow you to do it, didn't you? Because they don't usually allow Western people to.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was the first Westerner to go through the ceremony.
Did you, whenever that nail... What obviously it's painful. Were you awake? Were you conscious? Did you...
No, I passed out.
With the first nail?
Did you pass out at the very point at which you would presumably have hoped to have found an illumination or some illustration of it? Did the passing out take something from the experience?
No, but it hurt.
Yeah.
The best quote is this proper quote. It says, apparently when your mother visited you in a clinic where you were drying out from multiple Class A drug addiction, she sat down by your side and said to you, "Have I failed you as a mother, Sylvester?" You said, "It's Sebastian, mother." Is that a...
That's on the back of the book. That's on the dust jacket.
It's on the back of the book.
Yeah. The amount of the book I've read, there's parts which are like a scream for attention as much as anything else.
Are you criticising me or praising me?
No, I'm neither. I'm not putting any kind of value judgment on that at all. I mean, would you agree with that analysis that there is an element of look at these shocking things I've done?
I think part of you, well, we all are.
Yeah.
The motivation for any artist is look at me, mum, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? And the point is, we all have fantasies of fame and greatness, and life for most of us is a process of gradually shedding those fantasies. The urge to be a hero is a reflex against the terror of death, and everybody in the world has those kind of fantasies.
And is it just an easily solved puzzle that you set about yourself, which is that if your parents had been more traditional parents, that they had not been absent in the way that they were, that you, as we see now, just wouldn't exist. You'd be an accountant, very happy, married, with 3 kids. I don't know what happiness would be in the situation. But like, that this is just obviously all goes directly back to your parents.
I don't think... You'd have to ask Freud about that, wouldn't you? I think you are what you are from day one, and I think dressing it up in that kind of... No, I don't really think that. I think that, as I said to you, the urge towards the light, which all of us have to make, I don't think that's a reflex against that, do you? I mean, I think it's frightfully common to be loved by your parents. Anyway, I'm grateful for the fact that I was neglected, because most of my impulse is about rage and opposition and destruction and all that kind of thing. You can be the...
You have to admit, though, that you are more narcissistic than most people in society.
Well, a narcissist is just someone better looking than you are.
OK.
To accuse someone like me of narcissism or arrogance or grandiosity, in me, they're not aberrations, they're the point.
So it is a dandy thing, then? It is a dandyism?
Yeah, grandiosity is a reflex against the futility of existence. Life is completely pointless. I mean, sorry to break it to you if you don't really know that. So we might as well be extraordinary, because nothing matters very much, and very little matters at all.
What is the most ordinary, banal, day-to-day thing that you would do? Cup of tea, listen to the Archers on the radio?
No, listening to the radio is like having a conversation with someone wearing dark glasses.
OK, take that as a no. Just read the papers in the morning?
No, don't read the papers unless I'm in them.
How do you know you're in them?
The problem... The problem with reading newspapers is they might lead to harder things like books.
Well, it's like newspapers are the gateway drug into books, aren't they? Tell me about, last week was the week of the big, well, last 2 weeks, the big of the art fairs in London, Frieze and Pulse and all these things. Art in the last while, and you paint, you say you're not doing it now, but you have painted, like, I mean, the Crucifixion series was, you know, was a series of oil paintings that you did later, off the back of it. It's become very commodified, become very, like, a safe investment bet for people.
I hate art. You know, I really don't like it at all, and I don't really consider myself to be an artist. The problem with art is that art in a capitalist society is only available in commodity form, and there's nothing particularly radical about making objects and then selling them for more than they're worth. That's just capitalism. It's completely dull.
Well, then why do you do it, if you don't mind me asking? You could just give your art away rather than let it be sold.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, I don't sell very much anyway. The amount I sell wouldn't keep a dwarf in donuts for a day.
Have you ever, like, seriously, Sebastian, right, I'm going to ask a question. Now, you've been with, like you said, you've been from hookers that have cost £1,000 a night to £15 for a hand job down a back alley, right?
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been...
before?
Yeah.
In a back alley.
Has there been any point where you've been just finished post-coitally lying there with bits of you on bits of them, off your tits on some whatever class A, and looked in the mirror and thought, yeah, my life is exactly where I want it to be?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right then.
I look at myself in the mirror because, let's face it, I'm my type.
By the way, all the prostitutes you took, Frederick, the relationship you had with the various women in your life, you've a lady who you're in a relationship now, she's your muse, but you're gay.
Am I?
Well, you just said you were gay.
I'm not.
You just referred to yourself as a homosexual.
Bye now, gay later.
To be honest with you, whenever we read your bio, and I wasn't alone, I read your bio and I thought, he's a prick. And no, I've met you actually. I'm really warming to you. I'm warming to you.
I was kind of going, why?
I'm sorry about that.
I reckon you're all right, man. You're all right. Maybe it's just Ireland. You're really not that weird here. You're just a confirmed bachelor in this country.
In this country.
I'm actually annoyed the fact that, considering the incredibly fascinating life you've lived, that this won't sell as many copies as some bird who used to be in a girl band who ended up fucking a footballer will shift. That actually annoys me that you know.
If all the prostitutes bought it, then it would be all right.
What, you think
But the problem is that I only write to get my knob sucked, and the kind of women I'm attracted to are illiterate, so... It's completely pointless. You know?
and with that cry from the heart, we said that we are running close to time. The book, by the way, is Dandy in the Underworld. That's the book there. By the way, book, while an entertaining read, is nowhere near as entertaining as if you came around and read it to somebody. That's what you should sell, my friend. That'll be art. I will read you my life while my sheet spangles. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, please go for Sebastian Horsley. We're going to go into a commercial break. We'll see you after this for more of the panel.